Bene, abbiamo ora in linea via Zoom Phillip Donato, il cavaliere Phillip Donato, che è il presidente di SAIA, South Australian Italian Association, e stiamo registrando questa intervista. Buonasera, good evening, Phillip. Thanks for coming on to Radio Italia 1 Adelaide.
Thank you. Buonasera. Good evening, everybody. Grazie for the invitation. Thank you.
Oh, cool. So we invited you as the president of SAIA. It's one of several initiatives that you're involved with. And we're doing a series of Italian clubs and associations to talk about strategic issues and issues around renewal, etc., in the community. Because I know some organizations struggle with that.
Sure.
Maybe we can start with you telling us of any particularly interesting initiatives that you would like to talk about.
Sure, thank you. We have a good amount of initiatives, and we've just finished a good year of some initiatives. So perhaps I'll just backtrack a little bit. And so last year, our the first initiative was to employ an association manager, and that was specifically because we always get caught up in events, and we'd like to be able to develop the association as a true association with true membership and have a proper true role and give back to the community, especially to the Italian community. So we thought by introducing an association manager to concentrate on the association, that would be a good step. So we've employed that. It's the first time we've employed a manager for 20 anni. So it's been a fair bit of time, un po' di tempo. And also last year we started the language project called the Ente Gestore project, and it's a project where we seek funding from the Italian government. It was a project that was started by Dante Alighieri for a number of years, and they've handballed that to us, and so we reapplied to become that. And essentially the Italian government, together with the consul and the consulate, we put in a teacher assistant into a number of schools. Now, last year we did a pilot program where we took one teacher and put her into two state schools. So it was Roma Mitchell and Valley View, and that seems to have gone on very well. So we did the project for about 6 months, and everyone seems very pleased. The student outcomes were very good. And we're just in the process of reporting and summarising that, and at the same time put in an application for the next year.
So what does for 2025? So
That's
this, you said, is a teacher's assistant. So do they help? They complement what the teacher does in the classroom? That's
exactly right. They're not a teacher or registered teacher per se. They're there to support the teacher in her instruction, specifically around the conversation part, so per parlare. Because you find, and I went into some of these classes, and you've got to realise that the Italian classes in some of the high schools don't have any Italian children in them. They're all non-Italian children, and that was a surprise for me. And they don't have that natural Italian language inflection and using the short vowel, and so it was good to have an assistant there to teach them and converse with them over and over again. So it was very, very, very important. And as I said, the schools and the education department have had good feedback and think it was of value. So this year we're putting in a plan to extend it to 7 schools, involving more teachers. And so we're going to use both private schools and public schools. And so that's the plan. We're just waiting on approval from Italy for that. So that's one language initiative. The second language initiative that we're having is we're about to begin the community language school under the government banner. So there's a special group of legislation and associations supported by the government, which is supported by Multicultural and the Education Department together.
Which you're talking about? Which government?
The Community Language School.
The government, state government?
This is the state government, yes.
South Australia, okay.
That's right.
So the teacher's assistance is the Italian government funded.
Is the Italian government.
This is South Australian.
This is state government. That's right,
Mhm.
South Australian state government. So we're about to start that program within the next few weeks. Our teacher got caught up in Italy because of ill health of her father. But we will be starting before the end of the month. So that's good because it'll be a full curricular-based program, and it'll be a curricular plus experiential program. So we'll teach them more than just language in a classroom. We'll teach them outside of the classroom in various different settings, and food settings and in industry settings. And so we're trying to get them to experience the culture and experience using language in different formats and different occasions rather
Okay.
than
You mentioned curricula, so it's connected with the school curriculum. At what level?
Well, to a degree, but we've developed our own curriculum
Okay.
under the banner of there's a special what they call Community Language Schools of South Australia format or template, and we've created a curricula probably above beyond what they've asked us to do. So that's ready to roll out as well. So that's the language initiatives. Unless you have any questions on that.
That's right. We talked about this with Mr. Fantasia. Lou, I was about to say Angelo Fantasia,
Yes.
but not Angelo. And so he was saying that you were probably thinking to start around February, March this
That's
year.
right. So we're about to start. Yeah.
Okay.
We're about to start. We just waited for the teacher to get back. She arrived on Monday.
Yep.
This week.
And where are you doing it there in Carrington Street? Is that
we're doing it here in Carrington Street in the boardroom to start with, and with the view and the plan to remodel and re-extend our members bar area at the back, which at the moment is used as a multi-purpose sort of set of rooms, and we want to be able to create even greater multi-purposeness, and so that way we can have that room available to us once we have bigger numbers. Also, Torrens University have kindly offered their use of their rooms and facilities for us at cost price, or actually for free, gratis, for the first year if we need it. So we do have capability in terms of size of numbers. We're going to start small. We like to always start as a pilot program and then just as we go along. So, and
that's very good.
It's registered. But it hasn't been accredited yet. The accreditation process comes probably around June, at which time the government will start creating some funding around it.
Okay. So you're funding it yourselves now. Is that how it works?
For the moment, we're funding it ourselves. Yes.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to chip in and provide some money or donations, we'd be more than happy to take that. So all for a good cause, of course.
So that's important. So you've got two interests. One is from Italian government that's more directly associated with schooling, and you said you're going to hoping to have 7 schools covered this year, which is excellent. That's right. And the state government, which is more community, more
community language schools.
I was going to say less structured, but not education department curriculum, but it's,
that's right. It's not an educational department school. Yeah.
Very, very good. So there's quite a bit of that happening, which is good, and it's good to see.
So that's on the cultural side. We've just finished a big initiative that we had last year, which we run for the second time, was the SAIA Awards Night, the Italian of the Year Awards Night, and that was held at the Wine Centre, full house. So it was so full that we had to take up the whole dance floor with tables. So there was no tent on the night, but we had some good entertainment. And that ended up being mostly a very, very good night. And the feedback is that virtually everybody will come back next time. We've had people leave, says, people, I talk to, both men and women, say that they still are in tears when they think about it. It was such an emotional night for the majority of them. And so that was good. So we'd like to, once again, tweak it, get it a little bit, refine it a little bit more. We'll take it to a bigger venue next time, and we'll change some of the award categories. We're really going to have to try and encourage getting more women to nominate and having them nominate, because it's still, the equality side is still not quite there. We'd like to encourage that more for next time, and trying to get more ladies involved. So that would be something that we will push towards trying to initiate. The other side is we resumed a business lunch type of setup
Okay.
last year, and this year we're planning to have another 3. Last year's business lunch we had Flavia Nardini, and who was our guest speaker, and so that was well received. And the other initiative is that we have some new caterers and a new hospitality team who are leasing the premises for their events. And so we won't be running events ourselves per se, unless there are our own signature events. And they're called Vespa Catering. And they will open up a Vespa Cafe where the Enoteca room is, and that'll be utilised during the day, like a focacceria. And you can go there and have your coffees, and they'll fill that middle ground here around Hutt Street. So I think they've been given verbal permission to put chairs and tables outside. And so that'll hopefully get off the ground within the next month or 2 as well. So
so
we've got a lot going on at the moment.
So they're leasing the premises, so they've got control of that room.
And the main hall as well. A number of people are still ringing me up asking, whether, we can assist them in putting on something. And we go back to the caterers and go, well, this is what we've got on, and what can you do for us? They're very, cook very soul food, very Italian, very cultural, and they're very, very accommodating, and it's nothing they can't do or want to do for you. So
that's cool.
So that's exciting.
Vespa Catering, is that what you said?
Vespa Catering, and they'll be having the Vespa Cafe. So that's another lovely initiative that is happening, which they're running. We're just simply supporting. So yeah.
And that's not a bad location, just off, not far from Hutt Street.
And the council's very happy because they're intending to do some major works down Hutt Street next year or this year, and they're encouraging Vespa Cafe to get up and running as soon as possible. So,
Good. So I've talked about the renewal, which is either generation renewal, strategic renewal. You don't necessarily need to renew. Do these initiatives obviously fit within a broad strategy for SAIA?
We do.
What's your thinking?
Yeah, look, our strategy is to be, and we are and have been, and much of the community consider us to be the beating heart, or the heart and soul of the custodians of the legacy here, of the history here in South Australia. So we intend to be that and move towards being more that. We will honour the past. We will engage the present, and we'll inspire the future, if I can put it down in one sentence. And we have a number of strategies to try and do that. Some of those initiatives we've talked about, the language cultural ones, the renewing the corporate business member and networking through the business lunches and the awards. We used to have the Chamber of Commerce here. It's no longer here. So we're re-catering to that group who felt that they've no longer have a home and missed out a bit. And then, we do the usual our Brishla tournaments and our membership, our band nights. We have many of our members are part of, used to be here on the Sunday nights. And so we once or twice a year, we have a night where we bring back the old bands that are here, and they come along and have a bit of a dinner dance. So we'll do that again to cater for that side of the members. Our billiards, our sports members, we're getting bigger and stronger competition at the back there, and they're here on a Tuesday night, and we now have 5 teams, and so it's very strong competition. And they're a good, and that's a section of our membership group who are very, very, very proud. And I was on the phone with them this morning. They want to do more for the club. The question goes about renewal, and I have to say, lately we've probably had more women become members than men. Almost 3 to 1 if not 4-1. So we're having a renewal in that way. So that's good. The challenge with all clubs and it brings on opportunity as well is to start catering and start exciting and inspiring the next set of generations to take over the mantle and become the custodians. And so, we've got some planning and strategy around that as well. So, and part of what we do is we're the only association really that has got behind and sponsored the Italian festival from the beginning. For that purpose is to try and renew and bring the spirit of the youth together. And we find by supporting and contributing to that we're doing that. So,
You mentioned Briscoe.
Yeah, we have our own
That's not
tournament every year.
That's not the World Championship.
No.
That's down in McLaren Vale.
No. We have an arrangement with Steve, who run the major one, that this is a club and friends, and that the winners of ours will get automatic entry into his.
Okay.
So we have it, and Steve usually comes to ours and brings a few friends as well. So we have a very strong relationship whereby we're not there to compete. We're there. This is an avenue in, and because there are a lot of people that can't make it to Steve's down at McLaren Vale, and so they'll come here, especially the young ones. So you're talking about young initiatives. We have a lot of young players here. So with that.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
nice to hear that.
The other initiative is we've brought all the presidents together. We're trying to do a regular presidents meeting of all the various associations. And one of the big topics there is to try and create a community calendar. So all the organisations can share a community calendar, which they can all be a part of. And that will have hopefully have all sorts of impacts on the Italian community and the clubs and the various not-for-profit organisations. So there is a lot going on, and we're keeping pretty busy.
Yes.
And I'm sure I've forgotten something. So.
That's all right. Well, remind us then who's on your board. You mentioned a manager or executive director.
Yeah. So our association manager is Silvana Delena, and so she comes back. She comes in from a very large and strong not-for-profit sector. So she's got that very altruistic side and the very strong cultural side. She hasn't gone into associations before in a big way not for a long time, and she felt it's time that she wanted to give back. So she's there. Our deputy president is Eddie Carleso, who's been a part of the board here for about 15 years. He's an accountant from Bentley's. And very important in terms of our corporate initiatives. And Eddie looks after some of our corporate tenants and things like that. So very, very good. Our treasurer is also an accountant, obviously, and she also, so her name is Cristina Clementi, and she's also at Bentley's. And so there's a very, very strong accountancy presence on our board, and make sure that we're very strongly transparent and accountable and responsible and very compliant with the requirements of being a board. We have our legal practitioner who's on the board, Luke Corletto, and he's with Crawford's Legal Services. We have Lou Fantasia, who you've had on the program, and Lou, a town planner, independent town planner and consultant, and he acts as our secretary. We have Natasha Marona, who is most people would know, and from the Campagna Club and from Dant'Alighieri and from Giovani SA and a lot of those other not-for-profit other little organisations. So Natasha's been with us for a number of years as well. We have Mr. Tony Barber, who runs and has been chair of Carcraft and on the more motor building and motor correcting side, and he's been a member for a good 15 years as well. And then of course we have our immediate past president, who is Frank Russo. So Frank was once partner and director of Boffer and Russo's, and has probably been here the longest. He's been on the board here and affiliated with the association here for probably a good 20 plus years. and he looks after the facility and the maintenance side and all of that sort of thing. So a very good board, very cohesive, very collaborative. Touch wood, we rarely argue. In fact, I don't think we've ever argued. We have we will calmly and with great consideration consider all areas, and we have a varying sense of opinions, but we're very good at being able to harness that and come together with whatever decision we have. So it's a very cohesive, collaborative, and a good board, and they all get along. So it's lovely.
It's good. Oh, you mentioned
But we are looking for some new board members, and this year in particular, my focus as president is to concentrate on succession. And at some point in time, we will need to focus on that. There's a few people who have indicated some interest, so we'll just explore that through the year. So
you mentioned Frank Ross, who's immediate past president. How long have you been president of the association?
Probably in about 8 years, I think. Which I think I've become the longest, not by design, but just the way it's gone. I think COVID got in between, and so that sort of gave me 2 stints in the sense, but really enjoy the journey, and very, very proud of what they've done here and achieved. And for me, I'm a 3rd generation member. My parents and my grandparents and their brothers and sisters were members here. So my son is a member. So we're on our 4th generation of member here now. So it's been a lovely opportunity to give back to all that they've done in the past. So
is that Michael?
Michael, yes.
Yeah. I only know one of your sons. I know you have more.
Yes, I have one son. My daughter is in Melbourne, so she's. But if she was here, she would be right into it. So she's on her school boards over there, and she's taken a little bit off of me being very board conscious and that sort of thing. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much for having given us this current data, this overview of what you're currently doing, and sort of the thinking ahead for what might happen.
Yeah.
And yes,
we see the future as a very rich culture and diverse community that we will have, that we should maintain. And I think the richness and the diversity of our community and culture is very, very important. And we'd like to see that as we go further, that we can become a more centered and more focused sort of community, each with our own separateness and separate features and uniqueness. And that's why we've initiated the President's meeting, just so we can, all the different organisations can perhaps be more collaborative, and rather than everyone reinvent the wheel, we can sort of take the journey further. And if you see what some of the other cultures are doing, it'd be good to be able to do the same. So
Okay, very interesting. So we look forward to the journey and to watching what's happening in the future.
Have a wonderful future. Grazie. Ciao. Thank you very much. Cheers.